Good Friday afternoon, everyone. Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, here with you, and joined today as we are reunited. And it feels so good with Jeremy Schroeder here on Lawdog Sports. The weekend big show, kind of a resurrection of the old brand, and also wearing the new brand is my co-host Jeremy Schroeder. If you're watching on Facebook Live, sporting that amazing Lawdog Sports T-shirt, which you can order by going to lawdogsports.com. I got to sell some of these, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you do.
Between you and our super fans, I've got some money to recoup. So, anyway,
no kidding,
man. Good to see you, Jeremy. And I tell you, it's just what a day. It's freezing cold. There's nothing to do but sit and recycle, or revamp the Twitter feed and see who's who and where's where. And I got to say, I sent you a tweet. First off, I'm going to say this. After all this time that we've done this show, and we're going back to pretty certain it was April of 2018 where we started, you've never mentioned anything about an attempt or anything of going to CubsCon. I mean, they've got a Lego replica of Wrigley Field, Jeremy. How do you even call yourself a Cubs fan?
I don't know. Maybe because I wasn't aware of it. Listen, I started watching the Cubs when Harry Carey was doing it. So,
yeah. Well, I see on Twitter that the Cubs are trending and CubsCon, and then also their new starting pitcher from Japan.
I'm afraid if I tried to say his name, I'd sound like Harry.
Aruba. Man, those were good times. Hideki Arabu, that's who it was. But no, I think it is Shota Inagaga or something like that. So,
yeah, Inagata Davida.
Yeah, Inagata. So, anyways, he was apparently a hit at his press conference at CubsCon, and then subsequent posts that I see show the replica of Wrigley Field on the at the CubsCon. So that would be a heck of a thing for a Cubs fan.
Yeah, and most of those people are insane. You have to know this.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, are they like level of like trying to find Bartman and really bring harm to him?
There's
just short.
I would be willing to wager a paycheck that somebody showed up at CubsCon dressed similarly to the Bartman and just got the ever-loving crap beat out of them. Probably by somebody dressed as Ron Say.
Well, sure, Ron Say. Or, was it Moises Alou that was over there trying to?
Yeah, it was Moises Alou.
Bartman better be glad he didn't touch him with his hands.
Well, Alex Gonzalez could show up there, and remember he kicked the next ground ball that gave up 2 runs, so he is not innocent.
So and then really remember the old series on ESPN Classic, 5 reasons you can't blame Bill Buckner, or 5 reasons you can't blame Bartman, or they did all kinds of research and went into because I preach this constantly. One play does never dictate a game's outcome, except 06 Oregon OU.
Well, there was more than one play in that game.
I don't care
that bad PI call too.
Stop them twice and then had a chance to kick a winning field goal. That cost them one play.
They did stop him. Remember the PI that was called when the ball releases a perfect spiral, and then after it crossed the line of scrimmage, it looked like a kickoff.
Yeah, that was so maybe 2 plays dictate the
outcome. That's enough. That's
enough.
Well,
and so off
or unless it's in Stillwater.
Well, true that PI is a funny thing in life. But no, this is a great day for us to get on the air, and folks watching on Facebook Live, hope you'll comment. I know I tried to round up superfan Dan Narva, and
we have 2 really good rosters that just hit a 30-day portal opening.
Go right ahead with that.
Washington and Alabama.
So you think the Scavengers will begin? I mean, I'm assuming Texas is going to pick a lot of offensive players off of that Tide team.
Yeah, and I don't know who all is available from that Washington team. I know they have a lot of quality players, but you got to remember they were not I don't know, what did they call that? The blue chip ratio. They were mostly 3 stars, maybe a few 4 stars. They were, and all their O linemen were seniors. So,
did Odunze say that he was coming back, or did he declare?
I don't know. Oh,
I thought he
I
said
don't
he
think
was coming
he's.
back.
Yeah, he might be, but what's the offensive coordinator up there? What's his name? Scruggs?
Yeah,
Jeff Scruggs, is that right?
it sounds right.
Okay, I think
The coordinator's got no play throughout the playoffs. It was just nothing but DeBoer. Kind of like
yeah.
Ian had an insight into it.
Well, he parlayed that into possibly becoming what?
Well,
Why
sure.
am I blanking on his name now? Who was the not Mike Price? No. Dennis Franchione.
Oh, the Dennis Franchione of Washington football.
He could be the next Dennis Franchione. Go to Alabama and just because it's a different world now. Alabama's roster ain't what Alabama's roster was 3 years ago.
No, and okay, so Odunze.
I think we saw that up front.
So they lose their best receiver. How'd you like the semifinals with Washington and Texas, and and afterwards people saying that Kansas City could win 3 straight Super Bowls with Washington's receiver core?
They probably could, man. But the way Texas finished that game, delicious. Just the weird play calls by Sark with 15 seconds calling a toss sweep, and then not even looking at what's his name, Jatavion
Sanders.
Yep. I mean, he's at the front pylon with a corner on him, and they throw it through the back of the end zone twice. Yeah. What are you doing?
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I tell you, we can gloat all about Texas, but let's get into the current situation. And my question to you, Jeremy, is now that Oklahoma University football is in the Southeastern Conference, does that make the Paul Feinbaum show must-see TV on a Friday for you?
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know. Is that what is required of us now?
I mean, you have to be an SEC at every affair. I know that.
I already got it. Just means more tattooed across my back.
Look at you, Bubba. I guess living closer to the epicenter of Sooner football makes it that much more important. I get that totally. Well, and having said that, it is a huge day. None bigger than the day for Jimmy Sexton, as every one of his clients garners huge extensions, I'm sure, off of the retirement of one coach.
So, what's the guy? The guy at Florida State,
Norvell.
Jay Norvell.
Mike.
Mike, that one too. Mike Norvell. Jay's at Nevada.
Yeah.
Mike Norvell parlayed that into an 8-year extension worth $10 million a year.
Yeah, I saw a tweet.
And they just got hit. They're going to be hit with sanctions for
the NIL collectives weren't really operated at Free Shoes University very well.
So we can call that tampering, since the university was a direct conduit to an NIL collective.
Hey, here's one thing.
Actually, an assistant coach.
Always look for the silver lining, Jeremy, and that is that now the ACC will go nowhere.
This is true.
All the money they were going to spend fighting the ACC on their grant of rights will now go to Norvell's contract, and then also allegations by the NCAA.
Yeah, at this point, I don't even know why the NCAA is bothering with it. Just let it go.
Well, I mean,
just let it eat itself, and then step in and try to.
The voice of reason when it comes to all things college football recruiting and transfer portal action is Lincoln Riley.
Oh.
He said a year ago that this system needed some guardrails, and he was so right, Jeremy.
I hate you. Listen,
I forgot how fun it is.
I mean, the guy that was tampering with other teams' players,
Jordan Addison,
in the handshake line. Yes, yeah. Jordan Addison, the receiver from Arizona.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, he knows there needs to be changes, but he's a snake.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the voice you can trust, but really, if you get down to it, I mean, everybody's touting Nick Saban, and I won't question his success as a head football coach, because not only do you have to get the talent to Tuscaloosa, but you have to get them out there to play. How many times
you have to keep them out of trouble? You have to develop
guys.
He didn't just bring in 5 stars every year. He brought in Josh Jacobs was a 3-star
Was a
out of Tulsa.
3-star with no place to live out of Tulsa, and he just.
Yeah.
I still think of Robert Barnes getting bulldozed by him in that.
I mean, there were guys that he brought there that he developed into just animals.
Yeah.
Jacobs. I want Jerry Jeudy was 4 or 5-star, but there were a couple of their receivers that came. Maybe Devontae Smith.
Well,
they weren't like super 5-star plus guys that developed into just absolute studs.
It seemed like the skill positions is where they really excelled. I mean, especially late in his tenure at Alabama. I mean, I was so frustrated back in the day when they signed Julio Jones.
But
And I thought you're going to catch 3 catches a game, but they were all for touchdowns. I mean,
right. And this probably, I'm not going to say it was all to do with him, but it pretty much, when he brought Lane Kiffin on staff, is when he just let the offense go.
Yeah.
And it became, they got tired of handing it off to Bo Scarborough. Let's throw the ball around a little bit.
You know what's funny, though, is the current reigning national champion in college football looks an awful lot like 2010 Alabama to me. Maybe more athletic at quarterback than or McElroy ever were, but
still the same plain vanilla offense and great defense.
Yeah, win the line of scrimmage. I tell you, Jeremy, I started to text you Monday night because watching Michael Penix Jr. trying to dance around in the pocket, trying to find his opening spots, and Michigan's rushing forward just reminded me so much of Jason White in that Orange Bowl in 2005, which was the 2004 season. But I mean, in football, if you can get pressure on the quarterback and stop the run with 4 defensive linemen, you've won. I don't care what the other team has. If you do that, you've got the game.
No, in Michigan, they are loaded on the line on both sides of the football.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought, man, we just watched a team go out and win a national title, looking like a team from 10, 12 years ago winning the national title. And
all we can hope the rest of these small teams is that Harbaugh takes off and that 30-day window opens, and some of our favorite schools can poach some linemen from Michigan.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and I'm sure Dan Narva up in being a Sparty fan will try to get something going. We've got comments here. Todd Bruner said Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. Is that
Flatt and Scruggs?
A little bit, yeah. Marty Wandry, Clinton Liquor down in Seatown. You might have talked about this, but Washington Huskies coach agrees to take over Alabama job. Yeah, that's Kalen DeBoer. If we didn't make it clear, I apologize, but he is reportedly going to be hired as the next head coach at Alabama. I think he's a great coach. One thing, Brett, what's his face, that he covers OSU and he's on the Action Network and Stadium. Brett McMurphy.
Yes.
Things didn't work out the last time Alabama took a coach from the state of Washington.
Well, DeBoer, his overall record is 104-12.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fresno
he's
State
won everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, to turn Fresno State to take the Washington job and get them to the semifinal and win a semifinal game, that's huge. I mean,
I get that Penix is a fantastic quarterback and that can make all the difference, but that roster wasn't great. I mean, it's a good roster. It was a developed roster.
Their receiver core was top flight. I mean, and it's amazing to see a guy go up in a 50-50 ball and make the catch. Not even just beat his receiver, but make the catch. How long has it been since we've seen a lot of that around Big 12 territory?
Well, with the physicality's made its way back, but there were times in the last decade where 60-point games were the norm.
Sure.
No physicality either side of the football.
Yeah. Back on Saban, and that was the thing. He sold his soul because he complained. And here's the thing about Saban. This is my knock. You can't knock, and I think this is where I was going earlier. You can't knock his record. You can't knock his performance of his teams, blah, blah, blah. He would complain about something. Like, remember he was complaining about up-tempo offense and no. And then what does he do?
Safety issue. Then he goes up-tempo.
Yeah, and then he goes up tempo, spread the ball. He hated it. Then he sees what Lincoln Riley was able to do, and flips a switch. Now I don't
Well,
know.
a lot of that was get off my lawn, but a lot of that was he was adaptable and knew that was the only way he was going to continue to stay relevant.
Sure.
I think the NIL was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm telling you.
Well,
And the portal.
you're very, very right there. And then also, he held such a dominant record over his assistants for years. And then he loses to Kirby, and then he loses to Jimbo, and then, loses to Sark. And gosh, if he would have lost to Lane Kiffin, only knows what would happen. That, you might have actually seen a few gray hairs pop up in that quaff of his.
Yeah, you would have think that they would have gone after Kiffin, just hell or high water, whatever you want, we'll pay it.
Yeah, I would have shot a call to Florida Atlantic and see what Tom Herman's doing down there.
Well, I'm pretty sure that DeBoer was probably the third choice going to that.
Who's first? Sark.
Sark.
Second.
Then Lanning.
And then I heard all day yesterday about the Southern roots that Lanning had and everything. So good for him. But
I mean, in NIL, what better position can you be in than to have Phil Knight's checkbook at your disposal?
I was going to say, all the Oregon gear you could pass out.
Oh man,
drape a family's home in Oregon shingles if you wanted. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. But no, it's an interesting time right now in college football, Jeremy, because of the fact that we're going to see the full fruition of the conference realignments, and then also, we'll find out how this Florida State deal with the NIL collectives affects other schools. Because I'm sorry, how do why do you go after Florida State when it was made heir apparent? That's not correct, but when it was made public news that the Texas boosters were just going to pay offensive linemen $50,000 a year and say, we'll have you show
just to show up
stuff, and that
yeah,
and this is your deal. I mean, you talk about guardrails
because Florida State had the audacity to take legal action against the CFP and the NCAA.
There it was. Yeah, they are retaliatory little bitch of an organization. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you are right.
And really, in essence,
and they suck, and they've been a horrible traffic cop through all this.
Yeah,
just awful.
And my hope is that Florida State would basically go full blown hurricane and
But
just show us what you got, prove it.
See what you Here's the thing. Here's the thing. They are in 3 years. They're going to be searching for a new coach because the bottom's going to fall out after they've lost how many people off that roster. People transferring out. They got a lineman the other day, great, but how many people opted out of that bowl game?
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to be able to stay as relevant as they were this season. I just don't see it. We saw what they had after the quarterback Jordan Travis.
Yeah,
they had absolutely nothing after him, and that guy transferred.
Well, quarterback depth is a funky issue. I mean, you look at all of these teams. I mean, I guess really Texas.
Well, they could have
Manning, the only one that has a true 5-star super stud.
Well, go get a hired gun to be your backup for a season who's been in college for 17 years.
Casey Thompson.
Yeah, it's cool that he's coming back, but man, 7 years.
People I saw on Twitter. Well, I mean that, and Alan Bowman got granted his 7th year. I mean, and I heard that
he should get another year just for both collapsed lungs.
I'm telling you, I mean, a collapsed lung is a whole lot different than a Achilles tear or something. I mean,
yeah,
give the kid a break. And I saw, speaking of that, 7th years, I saw where Tua's brother was trying to get granted an extra year, and his claim that I heard was that his year at Alabama was spent taking knees out when the game was in hand.
Well, yeah, he would have never. His argument is he would have never seen the field that year had Tua not dislocated his hip.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're Lawdog Sports. He's Jeremy Schroeder. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog. We hope you're tuned in on Facebook Live. A couple of people have commented. We'd love to hear from you as well. And see, I get so confused, Jeremy, because on this Facebook Live, there's live chat and then top comments. blah blah blah. So I was on top comments and missed a couple. But if somebody has a question or a comment, feel free to chime in. Also, for a limited time only, I'm going to open up the phone line 580-952-9145. That's 580-952-9145. And in the future, if you want to leave a voicemail, even on that, we will play that on the air. I can always edit out your curse words. Um, so who stands to win other than Jimmy Sexton in this whole thing? Bama
Ooh.
fans freaking out. They'll jump on and support DeBoer, but then give it a loss to LSU or Ole Miss, and he's toast, I think.
Well, yeah, if they open, who do they open with next year? I don't even.
Well, I'm just going by who's
I mean,
their pod.
we already know they're gonna, we already know they're gonna lose in Norman, right?
That's right. I mean, what's he gonna do whenever he rolls out of Norman and sporting a loss? No, I mean, he's touted as a superior X's and O's guy to go and win at Fresno State off of some of I think Jeff Tedford was the last coach to win there. Or
Hey, okay, I'm looking at Western Kentucky, USF, Wisconsin, Georgia.
okay,
They could be 2-2.
ooh, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they have to go to Camp Randall.
And and that's another thing. Probably Nick saw the writing on the wall. He never wanted to do a true home and home. It was always you come to Tuscaloosa and we'll go to Arlington, or something like that.
Yeah. So, what the last person went at Fresno? Was it Tedford?
I thought. Well, he was.
Well, he was the. Yeah, he was the coach. I think he was the coach as soon as. I think he was the coach there last year. He just didn't coach in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Stepped down for health reasons. But yeah, he won it. He won at Fresno, which is not easy to do because you do play some pretty good teams over there in the Mountain
Pat
West.
Hill.
And
He was the guy that won all the time.
Pat Hill,
Big
yeah, with
mustache,
the
too.
mustache. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
Okay.
the Carr brothers.
Yeah, he coached Derek and David, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Poor David. That guy probably, he probably would ring at the doorbell. He's probably looking over his left shoulder.
He's just sliding. Just hit the ground.
Throw the ball. So it's just one of those things to me where I look at this hire for Alabama, and then we'll talk about the chain reaction that comes from that. And I even heard Muleshoe Deuce mentioned as a possible replacement for him at Washington.
Muleshoe. Did you say Muleshoe? Are you talking about Lincoln Riley?
The Garrett, the younger brother.
Garrett Riley.
Deuce.
Man, I think they'll hire from within. Don't you?
I don't know. The Patriots did, and they're taking a beating for it. So,
yeah, well, that was kind of understood that if Belichick stepped down, then Mayo was going to get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Apparently, it was in his contract.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
it was in his contract. And how does New England media not just pick that up and say, yeah, he's definitely going to be the guy? Why was there any doubt?
I know, but where Belichick still wants to coach. So,
yeah,
where's he going to go? I'm sorry, I almost said San Diego. No, the Chargers, LA Chargers.
They're talking about if the Buccaneers can beat the Eagles. I heard word that if Baker pulls off the upset over Jalen, that Sirianni's probably gone, and that Belichick, I think he should go to Washington. I think he should be a commander. I think they need that type of presence in that place.
Yes and no.
I mean, he's not going to Carolina. We know that.
He needs to go somewhere that has an established quarterback because he's proven that he cannot figure that position out.
No.
Got lightning in the bottle with one guy.
Yeah.
And I guess Castle and, Jacoby Brissett, but I digress.
Garoppolo.
Oily Bohunk, yeah.
Oily Bohunk out there. Where is Garoppolo? Is he still in Vegas?
He's with the Raiders. That'd be fun.
What do you think his contact list looks like?
I don't know. You probably go on a
Probably
something hub and hit the top 10, and there they are.
goes the oily bohunk. No, Belichick will be an interesting deal. I think he should just retire. He should do NFL game day with the mothership people, and then he and Saban should just do a podcast just bashing new offenses.
I think he should go to. I really think he should go to LA. They've got enough pieces on that defense to be LA to be good, and they have a quarterback.
Yeah. So I was talking about Ole Miss and Alabama. They're not even on the schedule.
No, I'm looking at Alabama's schedule
How's
right now.
that?
I mean,
So
they're going to
bringing
get
OU.
they're going to get whipped by Georgia,
Yeah.
and then they got Vandy,
The
then they
only
got
pure,
South
the only
Carolina,
pure program in college football, Vanderbilt.
and then they have South Carolina, who may be starting much maligned
Oh,
former
Davis
Oklahoma backup
Bevel.
quarterback Davis Bevel.
Yeah, I saw a headline on my Google homepage that said South Carolina brings in talented transfer, and I'm like, oh, okay. So,
Eh,
really, the one that they're going to have to worry about, Jeremy, and I say this even over the beloved Sooners, is the Mizzou Tigers because
Mizzou,
that is
yeah,
that is the it program now. Zelensky or whatever his name is. What
Drinkwitz,
Drinkwitz? Yeah, I knew that.
Zelensky.
Drinkwitz. He's got that program rolling, Jeremy. They're a new era in Columbia.
Yeah, I still think they're going to do something and just get the death penalty. Missouri's never been good at anything.
Brad Smith says different, pal.
They have 2 national titles over all
Yeah,
sports.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of programs out there that would love to have two.
Yeah.
Think about the glut of national titles that the University of Texas feels, or I mean, it's got to be old hat to win a volleyball title.
How about Oklahoma State with all those meat judging titles in equestrian?
Well, I mean, you get on a horse and you spot a ribeye at 30 paces. You deserve the hardware.
That's right.
Speaking of, it's just so funny that any sort of job opening popping up. Do you think after Gundy got in trouble for the OAN T-shirt that they said you will no longer have anybody mention that you're a potential candidate for a coach opening because we're not paying you anymore?
Do you think he just did it to screw with Holder and Boone Pickens?
Oh,
Because he hadn't
totally.
done it since those guys have been gone.
Well, he was Boone's boy, wasn't he?
Maybe.
I thought he was Boone's handpicked.
I mean, he could have just been doing that to screw with Holder.
Yeah,
I mean, that is a guy who knows what he is, and he knows that the expectations at Oklahoma State are
sure.
just right for him, and he's getting enough money to stay.
Well, and but like I said, for him to not, I mean, it is just odd for there to be no blip on the radar, no mention of Mike Gundy with all of these potential dominoes falling in the coaching world.
And he's also not the hot name anymore because he's been in one spot for so long. And I don't think a national brand looks at the way he runs his program and says, yeah, our ceiling should be to play for a conference title
Yeah,
and beat our in-state rival.
yeah,
Maybe.
well,
I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I guess that ship has sailed. Is I get what you're saying, but
Yep.
There were some other names that never popped up in any of this, and it was a little surprising. I mean, I guess with Bama being the primary opening, and then probably only West Coast people wanting to go to the far Northwest, the names like Josh Heupel or stuff like that didn't pop up.
Do you think they contacted Dabo? Or is that ship sailed?
It's that's why I have you on this show, because you ask the tough questions. That's a very interesting prospect, because apparently there were people chanting outside the Nick Saban memorial statue, anyone but Dabo. He's not dead, people.
You think I would have just it would have looked like They would have burned that campus to the ground had they announced Dabo Swinney
Oh
as
yeah.
their next head coach. Just because his refusal to even consider the portal,
yeah.
NIL is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he wants it to go back to the precious times, you know.
Well, toothpaste out of the tube. It ain't happening.
Well, here's the thing, and we'll exit college football talk on this, but as I was being indoctrinated today on the Paul Feinbaum show earlier, uh, he had Mike Loxley on there, the head coach at the University of Maryland, who was a former Alabama assistant, then also
Yep.
coached to his brother up there. And Maryland in the Big Ten just makes no sense to me. They're an ACC squad. I'll never get over that. But he was talking about the fact that you know um, we're basically pushing towards a minor league system for the NFL, and the NFL just signed a humongous TV deal, billions of dollars. And let me ask you this: since 2018, who have you known that has said the same thing?
You.
Thank you. No, I mean we used to talk
Well,
about this, and
because
I said
it's the perfect situation for the NFL because they don't have to fund it.
that's what I'm saying, and they are left off the hook because of the fact that these colleges and the board of trustees at these schools, they know that money keeps them relevant as a university.
The NFL, they realized with their mistake with the World League of American Football and then NFL Europe,
Yeah,
just throwing money into a hole and burning it, that there is a better way to do it. We can
yeah,
just sit back and hope for chaos at the college level and blow it up into what did I call it? A mercenary culture.
yeah.
And these guys will get paid and they'll develop. And by the time they get to the NFL, there you go. It's a minor league system ready made. They don't have to pour money. They don't have to do what the NBA is doing, which is just throwing money away
Mm-hmm.
on the G League and WNBA. Just
Whoa.
throwing it away.
No
And
massaging on this show, bud.
and Major League Baseball, what truly what are the profits of minor league baseball?
No,
Are
there's
there
not.
any? Have
But
there
it's
ever
just
been?
no. It's just the fact. Well, Bull Durham didn't that give a little bump back in
Sure.
the day?
Yeah, Will Durham. Yeah, sure.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Major League Two back to the minors. Yeah.
Was it All College Stadium or what was the old 89er? What was the old 89ers stadium called?
Oh my God. All sports.
All Sports Stadium. Let me tell you, when that sucker was rocking, you knew you were at a baseball game, bub.
I remember going to that game in the '80s, and that thing looked like it couldn't withstand the crowd inside without collapsing.
I worked security there from about 96 to 98. And before they built I worked one game, I think, at the new Bricktown stadium. But uh, yeah, those hoists or those supports at the press box and luxury suites, which luxury suite at the fairgrounds.
Exposed, rusted out I beams. Yeah,
It just
yeah,
you just wondered, okay, what wind
yeah.
direction is the wind going to blow that will knock this over? But the thing about it is with them not being on the hook for that, and yes, minor league baseball is not profitable, but yet they do it because
Yeah.
they want to find the young talent, get them locked in, and see if they develop. And I've said this all along, and you've probably heard it ad nauseum. Oh, Steve Anderson here. He's late, so thanks, Steve. Jagging me on the trash cans, catching water at the NRG Stadium the other night. That was cool.
Wow.
So, anyways, but I mean, the thing about it is, we've said this time and time again, Jeremy. A kid is an 18-year-old graduating high school and throws a 94-mile-an-hour, slider. He can go work on his craft. He does not have to jack with humanities or his elective course or any of that crap. He can go work on being a pitcher or a batter. A kid, throws for 3,000 yards his senior year in high school and wants to play football. He has to go pretend to be a student, and he may not have any intention of being a student.
For 3 years.
Yes, for 3 years. And it's because,
So
oh, well, they have to develop in college before they can get in the pros. Not all of them.
So if because say Major League Baseball, do you think they may have put pen to paper and said we could supply wooden bats, all these things to colleges, and just get rid of the minor league system?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I
Hey, I'm
mean,
telling you
here's the
what,
thing.
I bet the minor league system is cheaper to fund than doing that
Oh,
because there are so many colleges.
yeah, because you think about it, you rope in a municipality to basically go in and pay for your stadium, because if they don't, you're going to pull your independent league team out of their hole and go somewhere else. And it's just we see it with the NBA, we see it in all professional sports. And then to me, I just look at it and say, okay, um, set up a system. And here's the thing: there's so many college programs that 32 NFL teams and a minimum of 119 major college, and then if you just threw Power Five in there, you know,
That's all that matters.
so is each say let's say 60 Power Fives or 64 teams out of the Power Fives get into this league. Is it going to be a situation where okay, the Ravens have two teams in this league and they distribute
First of all,
players they draft? I mean, I could see how
yeah,
that would
allocations,
be a big deal.
allocations like they did with the NFL Europe. First of all, it's the Power Three now. You got to get that Power Five out of your vernacular. There's no
Oh
longer,
yeah,
or
I
Power Four,
I saw the look in your eyes when I said that. I knew you were.
because the Pac-2 is not a Power Five conference
I'll
any
always.
longer.
I got to walk. I can walk to a closet right this very minute and pull out a Wazoo hoodie that I will blast this screen on.
Which is just beyond. Washington State's got some history.
Yeah,
They've won.
yeah.
They not national titles, but they've been to the Rose Bowl. They've won it. They've been on the radar.
Oregon State,
But Rutgers
the Rogers
is
brothers.
in a power
Yeah,
conference,
yeah. State School,
or
State
Duke.
University of New Jersey,
Yeah,
Vanderbilt.
sure. Vandy,
Vandy reminds me
Wake.
of Vandy reminds me of some of the guys that got drawn into pledge fraternities on the campus of my college I went to, which consisted of about 200 on-campus students. It was like, wow, you need a frat. Uh, you'd see these guys wearing these pledge shirts, and like, wow, and I didn't have the money, so but maybe I was a little bit jealous, but then I kind of put it together. Oh, they brought them in to help the pledge class GPA. So,
There you go.
but anyways, that's kind of Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's that team that you bring in to help the pledge class.
They're a baseball school, baseball and golf.
Yeah. Steve Anderson with a comment. There's some collegiate developmental leagues that use wooden bats. Cape Cod is the class.
Cape Cod, yeah.
But here's leagues in Alaska. But there's leagues in Alaska, the Midwest, and a new this year in the South. I believe Sherman, Texas will
There's a league up around Topeka,
have
all the
a
way
team.
up into Missouri.
Okay. Yeah.
Wood bat leagues.
That's a lot of lumber.
Uh huh. Those bats aren't cheap anymore, man. It's like $150 a bat for a decent wood bat. Now think about that over how many you're gonna saw off during the season.
Exactly. Are they able to recycle those?
No.
No. Well, now I hate baseball. Uh, so anyways, all right. So that's our college, and I'll just say this is my exit statement on college football. Within 5 years of Premier League style college football course.
Anything to pare it down, you're gonna have to.
It'll be 20 teams, and there will be relegation at the bottom and promotion from the next level, and that'll be it.
Yep. That makes as much sense as anything else, and more sense than what we're looking at now.
I said it 5 years ago, and people looked at me like I was insane.
But you realize that the two teams that just played for the national title, neither one of them's had a top 5 class in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So
Michigan never was top 5.
no.
Well, and and here's another thing, and absolutely last thing we will say, we're gonna eventually get out of these extra COVID years, right? I mean, some of these.
I think this is the last one, right?
Okay,
Has to
so,
be.
I mean, you get back to the.
Well, no. Someone's freshman year is 2024. Someone's freshman year was 2020. They redshirted that year. So now they've got, 3 extra years of so they got so there'll be a sophomore
Well,
this
eventually
year.
there'll be a day where the median age of the players is going to be about 19 and a half instead of 23.
And Dylan Gabriel will still be playing.
Yep. Steve Anderson says Alabama crushed his dream today. I wanted Kiffin to go to Bama, then Sark to
So
go
badly.
Sark to go to Ole Miss. And
Sark wasn't going to go to Ole
bring
Miss.
Arch Manning with him, and then Lincoln Riley go to Texas. Y'all would have had plenty to talk about. Remember, Steve's an Aggie, or not him Aggie. He's a Aggie light.
Well, Steve, here's the thing: the expectations are much too high at Texas. Lincoln doesn't have the intestinal fortitude to be able to recruit and deal with the boosters and deal with all the other things that go with being the head coach of the University of Texas.
Yeah. I think that's yet to be determined. I'll say that. I mean, for him to get that team to a playoff, where he's got to pick up is the X's and O's, and that's going to be his downfall. Steve, there's an Eric Nadell bobblehead for you to focus on while Jeremy, goes at you for being an OSU Aggie. So.
Oh, I don't care that he's an OSU Aggie. I just don't like Lincoln Riley.
Exactly.
And he'd be fired within he'd be like Vodka Tom down there. He wouldn't be that first number 15 class with a 5-star receiver and 5 2-star offensive linemen would get him run out of town on a rail.
All right, so college football, still a lot to be determined on that, but as it stands this afternoon, Alabama is hiring Caleb DeBoer as their next head coach. We'll see where the dominoes fall as far as who takes the Washington job. And then also somebody said James Franklin was kind of left out of the extortion from the coaching from the agents extensions and stuff. So I'm sure he's on a short leash this year.
James Franklin is extremely mid.
He's kind of gotten that way. You got to pull off a big win. But okay, so into the NFL playoffs this weekend, and a minus 30 wind chill is what's being predicted tomorrow night at Arrowhead. Why don't they just nut up and take the game to Miami? Say,
because it's a home game, sir.
So what? I mean, don't sell many tickets to Miami fans. Do something, but you cannot play.
No, I want to see that pipsqueak coach for the Dolphins in big boy pants all the way to his ankles and a coat.
Daniel, he's on enough in life.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, but guess what? It's a man's game, sir.
It is, but minus
get
30,
out there.
I mean,
get out, and I bet you, real Yankees
and Devin runs for 300 yards. What are you going to do?
Maybe MVS's hands will be so numb that he'll just catch the ball because he can't think about it. You ever think of that?
That could be true.
I bet you good Yankee dollars that Creed Humphrey's out there with no undershirt on.
Oh, wow. Your little myth that Creed Humphrey didn't get all-pro center?
I am. And also that L'Jarius Sneed wasn't on either first team. The man did not give up a single touchdown this year at corner.
I've heard his name bandied about as, being that guy.
He had a heck of a season and should have been. I'm also miffed that one Baker Reagan Mayfield did not make it to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's probably, you look at his numbers this season, that's probably a pretty big shaft for him.
Totally.
Yeah. Creed, I just when I saw Jason Kelsey on there, I just thought that's just because of the podcast. That's not.
It's the legacy thing. But he's a great player.
Great, but I mean, Humphrey is something.
I know. He is very good. It'd be like if you let
and
Lane Johnson off
not getting the or is it James Winchester? I'm sorry.
James. Mike was his father. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Rest in peace, brother.
Rest in peace.
James Winchester not getting deep snapper. You telling me there's a deep snapper in the NFL better than James Winchester? I defy you to prove.
There's not a lot of bad deep snappers in the NFL.
I guess not.
I mean, there really isn't. They have one job, just hit him in the crotch and run downfield. Try not to get knocked out.
So the fish come to be frozen at Arrowhead this weekend. Percentage chance that Mahomes is able – is it the KC defense that will bring home that playoff win, or
It's the KC defense that shut that offense down last time. Yes, Chris Jones and the boys are going to get after it.
they are a pretty awesome defense when you look at it.
Yeah, and Isaiah Pacheco runs angry.
Yeah, Devin Achane runs fast.
Yeah.
He got some wheels. Is
Yep.
Mostert out?
Mostert, I think so.
Okay, I thought he was. So other playoff games, Dallas, aren't they playing this week? Yeah, they've got the Packers coming to Jerry World.
The Packers.
The Packers.
What's the line on that?
Good thing you asked, because I'm going to take a look at it. Looks like I see Green Bay taking 7.
Yeah, Kansas City's favored by 3.5. By the way, so Green Bay is a 7-point dog.
Who's favored by 3.5? KC?
Kansas City. Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Well, it's a playoff game. The lines are always tighter in the playoff games. Vegas doesn't think much of the Packers.
I've got 4.5 on Yahoo Sports.
Oh, it moved. Okay.
Over under 44. Do you like the under on that?
Of what, 34?
Over under 44 at Arrowhead. I like the under.
In minus 34?
Yeah.
Give me the under.
Mm-hmm.
And put your house on the Packers.
Ooh. And don't be jabbing at Lawdog Sports fantasy football champion MJ Baird. He basically single-handedly won our league with mostly Cowboys players.
Well, I mean, the Cowboys have some good players, but we're gonna playoff Dak tomorrow or Sunday.
Yeah, there's always that chance. Cleveland is a 2.5 favorite at Houston. That's
Man, you know what? You know what I want?
Uh.
I mean, I want Kansas City to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, I don't think this is their year.
Yeah.
Just Cleveland to win the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
And then have to make a decision about Deshaun Watson, because there's no right decision there, because the guy should, first off, he should never. They bid against themselves to give the guy $234 million guaranteed. Plays 5 games in 2 years, then they bring in a guy off the bench who's like 40.
Yeah,
and he just balls out.
Can you? I mean, but in this day and time, that contract they signed him to, the market's reset since then, right? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, Mahomes got like $500 million.
Well, I mean, Deshaun's was after Mahomes, but
yeah.
But I mean, it was
the guaranteed money that was because the guy had basically sat out. He basically sat out 2 seasons.
Yeah,
in Houston, one with injury and one with a holdout.
Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh, a 9.5-point dog at Buffalo. I like Buffalo all over that one.
I do too, but
you know, much faith I have in Mason Rudolph.
Steve, I really hope Mason Rudolph just plays out of his mind again and they beat Buffalo, because I think I thought Mason Rudolph was probably the best quarterback on that roster going into this season, because I don't think much of Kenny Pickett. And he's not good. I do not get that.
No, it's just you jumped too early in the draft and took that.
He's the only guy that went in the first round.
Yeah,
was Pickett.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, they had like the other guy, Malik, the kid from Liberty.
Oh yeah, Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. He went like 3rd to 5th round or something, and he was the guy that was supposed to be the one.
Yeah, he was a Heisman favorite at one time.
I think he's probably almost out of the league. He's got a foot out anyways.
If you go to Tennessee, I mean, where he went to Tennessee, right?
Yeah, you look what they did to their coach, who's done nothing but win football games there.
See ya.
What a bad franchise.
Levis is there, and they're already talking about taking a quarterback again. So I mean, it's just silliness there. But that's what you get when you steal the Houston's Power Blue and then throw a gas.
I saw something today that the Texans aren't rebranding, but they're bringing the Houston Blue back.
Yeah.
To their uniform rotation, and that's going to be their secondary color with the red.
I'll just say that the whole Lone Star emblem in effect and a cow on their logo, they could go a long ways to reeling me in if they went powder blue and something not quite as Longhornish or steerish.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the panacea is to be able to get the Oilers branding back from
but
Tennessee.
But
I mean, maybe they could
Titans
go with like a drillers.
Yeah, there you go.
Huh?
Roughneck.
Houston Drillers. Yeah. Well, I think the UFL has that one.
Buy it. You're the tech.
Yeah. That probably, yeah.
Speaking of UFL, have you seen the promos on Fox for the UFL?
No.
I think they used a smart ass comment by Scott Van Pelt as a promo.
Really?
Because there's a clip in it in the promo.
Oh, you tweeted something about that.
Yeah. And Van Pelt goes, the two greatest spring football leagues in the history of the sport merge. Really? SCP? You're gonna go there? It seemed like shade to me, but maybe the people at Fox didn't realize.
It's giving Bob Stoops something to do, and I'm grateful for it.
Other than coming back and leading the program he abandoned.
All right. Wow.
Yeah, I said
I'm only mad. I'm only mad because he turned it over to Lincoln Riley.
There you go. Him and Joe C should pay. They should pay for your dismay.
Well, I mean, what were they going to do?
Yeah. Now go on do a coaching search. How about that?
Bring Venables back then.
Yeah. Hey, Rams are 3-point dogs at Detroit. Matt Stafford's return to the Motor City. I like LA in this.
I like the Lions.
I don't trust Jared Goff in a playoff game.
Jared Goff has quarterbacked a team to the Super Bowl.
He has, and what kind of defense did that team have?
All that being said,
yeah,
they scored 3 points against a very good Patriots defense in the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did. Well, and the teams with the buys this week, Baltimore and San Francisco, I don't trust either one of those. I'll never trust the Kyle Shanahan team to finish the deal.
I'm going to read this to you because I just want you to hear it because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
So, USC quarterback Caleb Williams wants assurances the Bears will be trading the first overall pick before declaring for the draft. He doesn't want to play for the Bears.
He doesn't want to play in Chicago.
Right.
Where would you like to play, Caleb?
Well, yeah. I mean, he thinks he thinks he's the main character of this story, but guess what?
I mean, I don't know. The thing about it is that could also be contract brokering. I mean, it could be his agent.
There's no. Every pick is slotted now. Right. There's no Sam Bradfords anymore.
No, there's no wasting franchise money.
Or Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, yeah. So you're right there. And so, I mean, should we bang on him for the same thing that Elway did and same thing that Eli did?
No, because neither one of them asked for an ownership stake in the team that drafts him.
True. Where do you think he'd want to go? Arizona?
New York.
New York.
Maybe Vegas. Probably Vegas.
He's from
I don't know. His team threw a list of places he'd like to play out there potentially.
Yeah.
I want to say it was I want to say the Commanders, Vegas, New York.
Well, where's Montez Sweat? Did he go from Washington to Chicago?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So I mean, they've already got the best player from Washington they could find. So nothing else.
I don't think Caleb Williams is emotionally mature enough to be a great NFL quarterback.
It's going to be interesting to see. And
he's got the ability, but a lot of guys have had a ton of ability and have gone to the NFL and just puked down their shirt.
Well, especially with like the maturity and the moxie that Penix showed in the playoffs. And
yeah, he wasn't sitting on the bench crying. He was, he took it on the chin.
Yeah, sorry, I had to sneeze there.
That's
yeah,
right.
and even in the finals, he was out there struggling and trying to get through. But yep. I think you could be onto something. I think Caleb Williams would probably be, and I mean, we say talent. He's got skills.
Could he be a bust though?
In this day and time, Jeremy, any of them could. The days of saying we're looking at Brock Purdy potentially playing in a Super Bowl. I never thought he had game at Iowa State.
Right.
And don't say he didn't.
He was a good quarterback at Iowa State. He was a good quarterback. Now, he made some of the most spectacular mistakes at the worst possible times. What game was it where he turned around and threw the ball 30 yards behind him? You remember that game? Or when he tried to cut back in the middle of the field and just absolutely got beheaded by Perry on Winfrey.
Just decapitated him.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
a good, but he's in a perfect.
He threw how many picks in that Big 12 championship in 2020? When it 3?
He threw a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was that against Oklahoma?
Yes, that was.
And that was a team that did not take the football away.
No,
but you also had to realize that he went to possibly the greatest system for quarterbacks we've seen.
Yeah,
Jimmy G was very serviceable in this system. They went to a Super Bowl. Chiefs beat their ass, but yeah.
Who was head coach of that Super Bowl?
Same guy.
Was it
Shanahan? Yeah.
So, well, I guess my original point is in this day and time, and it's the same thing for Drake May. Everybody's just so sure that May should be the second quarterback to go. Penix is down there. Bo Nix. I mean, think about what we were saying about Bo Nix 2 years ago.
Oh, I know.
I mean, yeah.
The thing about Penix,
Oregon.
Yeah, well, hey, I don't know that Bo Nix is going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I don't know that he's displayed those tools.
That's why it's so funny that yours would declare he's not going because
where was he going to go?
Well, I'm just saying, if you go in the 3rd or 4th round, then you have a better chance to be somewhere where you won't get killed. You won't be stuck with a moron ownership group. I mean, and they're falling back on my Purdy statement is just get on the best possible squad you can, and I know in a draft situation you don't have a choice, but I mean, it's just I don't know. To me, it just shows the collective money is so good in Austin. Why leave?
Oh, and back to beating on Caleb Williams, not to beat a dead horse, but what did he think was going to happen when he won a Heisman and was an electrifying player at the college level? Did he think he was just going to, maybe I'll just, get drafted mid-first round? No, you were going number 1. That's why you went to play for Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. And Chicago has weapons. They're not devoid
They do.
Of receivers.
They do.
Or running back.
Robbie Anderson. Yeah. Dante Foreman had a good season. Chicago's maybe because Chicago's all-time leading passer is Jay Cutler.
Yeah,
and they haven't had a quarterback since Billy Kilmer, or they haven't had an All-Pro quarterback since like the 50s.
Oh yeah. I mean, quarterback has been the monster.
Well, it's because
running game. But no. To me, I look at Caleb Williams and I kind of throw Drake May in there as like, yeah, you guys, you had so much you had so much collateral going into the preseason. Now, Caleb still led the Pac-12 in a lot of categories, led the nation in several, I guess. But
it wasn't his fault they went 7-5.
No, they played no defense. But
right.
I mean, the thing about it is with him, I just look at it and say, with the NFL and being the number 1 quarterback, you've got to go in and win the team. I mean, you've
exactly
got to show those veterans that you're not just there.
Well, once you get drafted overall, no matter if you're the quarterback, you are the face of the franchise, regardless of what you do.
And I know there was mixed reports out of Cleveland back when Baker was the number 1 pick, and they made a playoff. They made a conference final.
They won a playoff game.
Made it to the conference championship, but there was always some skepticism if Baker was mature enough to lead the locker room. I think he's erased a lot of that. Maybe just his most ardent of distractors still go with that. But to me, I just think if you're setting a bad tone already if you do get drafted by that franchise. If you say, I may just stay. I mean, then that's
now, Baker being drafted by Cleveland was, I mean, that's been the death of how many quarterbacks historically, right? Same thing with Chicago. I can't think of the last good quarterback that Chicago has drafted that has played a long career. Fields is good. I think Fields is very good. I think he needs to be in the right system, and I don't think that system is in place. And I think they should probably retool their coaching staff around him.
If they have to keep him, yeah.
Because he's got a great skill set. And what are you going to? I mean, You ever in Caleb Williamson to run the same? You got the same thing.
Yeah, I heard
Younger.
that out Atlanta would be a good landing spot for Fields in that system down there. Of
Well,
course,
he's a Georgia
Georgia
kid too.
fires.
Of course, and getting away from Chicago, but they don't have a. Well, heck, maybe Atlanta brings in Belichick.
Exit question as we jump out of the NFL, and real quick as we're running out of time. Oklahoma City Thunder currently what, in first place in the Western Conference?
They're either in first place or they're a game or they're a half a game out.
So does that mean they would get swept? And does that mean gentlemen sweep by the Lakers in a?
Why do you think? No, the Lakers would be lucky to get out of the play-in. I don't know if you've watched the Lakers play lately, but they're old.
Beat the Clippers, pal. LeBron dunked. I saw it.
Okay, OKC is tied for first place, and how dare you?
I just had to gag you. Hey, Pete Carroll, we forgot to mention him too.
Yeah,
I mean, would he jump back into college?
I doubt it. Do you think he's got the? He probably thinks he has the energy for it, but not the way it is now.
I mean,
the man has done nothing but win. Why can't they let him go out on his terms in Seattle?
I don't know. I mean, when you're a defensive coach and your defense is dreadful,
I guess.
And you could say the same thing for Belichick. I mean,
your Los Angeles Lakers are sitting in the 10 seed right now.
Yeah, my Los Angeles Lakers. All right, what you got on tap for the weekend, Jeremy?
Oh well, we did some moving yesterday, so now I'm just going to recover from that.
Well, not much to do with the wind chills and temperatures upcoming, and
watch some foosball tomorrow.
Foosball, the playoffs, and we'll be praying for the faithful there at Arrowhead. I mean, I guess just full parkas and bibs and face masks to try to fend. I mean, that's the thing. One time I had to go check a bomb threat inside of a food distributor, and they had the deep freeze where we had to kind of do a pass through, and it was minus 25. Your eyelashes freeze to your eyes. The liquid in your eyes, goes away.
Yeah.
I don't know how those guys are going to accomplish anything tomorrow.
It's going to be fun. There's $40 tickets available. You want to jump in the car?
I've been to Arrowhead when it's been probably, let's see.
The year 2000?
2000 and 2003. I'm trying to remember which was colder. I felt
2000.
I felt colder in 2000 because we were sitting on the upper level on the front.
Yeah, that's exactly where we were.
It kind of freaked me out. I didn't stand up the whole game. I'm sitting there. Yeah, go Josh. And so 2000 Big 12 championship game was super cold. I don't remember being that cold at 03 other than just my anger keeping me warm.
03, we were in club level, so we had a lot of people around us, so it didn't seem as cold. But 2000 was cold.
2000 was cold. Yeah, it was. Anyways, well, listen, have a great weekend. Stay warm, and we'll try to jump back on here real soon in the near future.
Fantastic. Go Chiefs.
Take care, Bubba. I like this, by the way.
Lawdog, thank you.
For the Lawdog, Jeremy Schroeder. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you all later.